right, we found ourselves in Odense, the third largest city in Denmark, just 167 kilometers southwest of the lovely city of Copenhagen. Things are a little chilly here outside, but they're starting to heat up inside as we're barreling through these group stage matches for the ESL Pro League Season 8 Finals. My name is Trey Saranthus, and I am now bringing on board here at the desk Jacob Vinicki, Pimp you might know him as, and then of course to his left would have to be Natu. I've already got your name once right today, and that's good.
All right. Fair enough.
Right once today. Yeah, there we go.
That's all it takes.
Cool. So, guys, we got NRG and North here. Let's begin to talk a little bit about this best of one, because if we look at both of these teams, it's been a pretty interesting year, so to say.
It has. I think it's two teams that have been playing better and better as of lately. I think NRG obviously is this big success story that started in the beginning of the year. Nobody really expected them to be as good as they are, but so far this year they've just been constantly growing. They've constantly gotten better, and it's a team that I would say that you expect to be in the playoffs. Whereas for North, you know, they had a little bit of a rocky start, but they seem to have found a sort of way, you know, to get into the success. They're getting better and better, and they have also been beating NRG in a few matchups here as of lately. So two teams that are constantly on the rise, and two teams that are playing a brand of high Counter-Strike right now.
Yeah, I feel like for NRG, obviously the big fall down for them was what happened at the American Minor. Obviously, they didn't make the major, and there was a lot of question marks. I think a lot of people are thinking if there's going to be a roster change in that lineup due to what happened there. But I think it was the right call for them not to do it. I mean, obviously, it feels like they're just, as Jacob was saying, getting better and better and better. It's showing in the world rankings as well. You know, they're slowly but surely creeping their way into that. They're very much set in stone in that top 10 right now, so they're looking good. And then obviously Acadians North, obviously also they're improving.
Well, both teams having finished in a starch 4th place here amongst the ESL Pro League finalists, the ones that have qualified for the lovely city of Odense. Both of these teams have had quite a bit of a running online up to this point.
Yeah, and that's how it is, Trace. Online Counter-Strike is just a different matter. I'm pretty surprised that both NRG and North were able to go so clean through. Expecting North, you know, to have a little bit more of a struggle to qualify, considering the European division is as strong as it is. They were outmatching teams like NIP and Fnatic for that matter, so they did really fine. Whereas for NRG, you know, it was expected that they would get to this stage of the matter.
It's very true. I mean, if you look at the European rankings for the just pulling the fin here. But no, I mean, like Jacob was saying, Pro League and EU right now, I think this season a bit of a surprise in the terms of Fnatic and NIP. FaZe obviously not making their way through, so that enables for teams like North to go into the playoffs.
Well, it enabled us to get on our pre-match vetoes. That's right. We got to determine what map we'll be seeing here. Best of one between these two teams, and already the vetoes are coming out.
Yeah, I mean, they played each other in like 5 different maps in very, very recent time. Since October, they've met each other at Star Series. They met each other at IM Chicago, ECS Finals. So there's a lot of history. These teams know each other super, super well.
One map we're not going to see is going to be Cash. I don't think that...
Oh, it's already out.
Already out. Well, there you go. Well, that's a fun storyline, because NRG actually were willing to play Cash against North the past few events, but they finally learned now that North is a decent Cash team, and NRG just haven't been able to replicate the success they needed on it. Whereas for North, getting rid of Overpass and Mirage, it makes sense. You don't want to play Mirage against NRG, and Overpass has not necessarily been a strong map of North either, and NRG is pretty goddamn good on the map of Overpass.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of slowly but surely is going down the way of maybe Train, maybe New could be those maps that we end up seeing.
Well, it's been a good year for NRG and North as well, now that they have that roster change out of the way. And if we actually looked into the vetoes, looks like we're going to be training our eyes down the railways. We're going to Train between these two. Does this seem like a pretty good matchup on Train?
I think so, and it's going to be interesting because that's one of the maps they haven't played against each other, with Acadian being on this lineup. So we have seen Cash, we have seen Inferno, we have seen Nuke, and also here North had the opportunity of go back to Inferno and play that as a deciding map here, but they did lose at the ECS Finals on Nuke in an overtime game, so they're probably a little bit scared of going into that one. Whereas for Train, I think that's where North feel that they're the most confident, that's where they feel they're the best, and NRG is by no means a bad team on Train either, so this should be a ball of a fight, Trace.
Yeah, in a matchup, like I say, when they play each other so many times, even they haven't met on this specific map, there's still certain tendencies that go across different maps. So it kind of creates its own little metagame within these two teams against one another. So yeah, I think this is going to be one of the closer, if not the closest affair we're going to see today.
Well, we can take a look as a brief overview between North and NRG and kind of what they have coming into this one. An interesting year for both. We do have an IEM champion to your left, and then we have North, who I guess, you know, they did win Masters. So
With ESL, though.
Yeah, and things have changed a little bit. So going into this matchup, it needs to be a good step in the right direction for both of these teams.
It definitely does. I think North have shown in the past couple of matchups that they have the upper hand going in against NRG. I think when you look at the teams from an objective point of view, you would say that NRG are the better team. At least they get the better results, and I think that's fair to state. But when it comes to individual between these two teams, North seem to have that edge onto NRG. As said, we haven't seen Train being played out between these two teams yet in a best-of-1 scenario, so that maybe could tip the favor back to NRG. But I think, as Nato said as well, this is going to be a super tense and a super close one.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, in terms of just if you look at the players, it's kind of hard to judge which team has the better individuals. I would maybe steer over to
NRG, no doubt.
Yeah, to have the higher skill ceiling. But I think just the way that North is setting up their team, having a vested coach, it just feels like they should be able to play better as a unit.
It's a fun thing though, because NRG, you know, they have exactly what North lacks. They have that star power. They had those individuals that can take over a game all by themselves. When you look at Breeze, when you look at Ethan, and even Cirque for that matter, they're like very, very good individual players. Whereas North, they have exactly the same attributes that NRG would like on their team. They have the communication, they have the team play. So if you can find a combination of these two teams and mix them together in an imaginary world, you would have a pretty goddamn good team. But both these teams are struggling on each strengths.
Well, one thing that doesn't necessarily struggle all the time, albeit this hasn't been the best latter half of the year for Cirque, we can begin to talk a little bit about AWPs. We know Mertz can pick it up over there. Hell, we know that even Cadian can pick it up if he has to. So when it comes to AWPs in this matchup, are we expecting them to have a big impact across Train?
If Cirque is on in the game, yeah, for sure, 100%. I feel he's a bit of a hit or miss type of a player, though. You know, when he's in his zone, I think he could definitely be that kind of guy who takes over a game. But at the same time, he keeps on taking those risks, which he has to. You know, something similar to someone like, you know, being for man, being finished. I say Aluk, you know, he's the type of player who will go for the peaks, even though if he's not feeling the hottest, he's not going to, you know, show that he's not confident in that situation. The same for Cirque. So sometimes it can be costly for his team, but, you know, he is still making it happen more often than not. And obviously, he's not had the best of times in the last few months, but if he keeps on going in the long term, it's going to work out for him.
And I definitely agree. I don't have the stats to back this one up when I'm saying it, but I think Train is a map where Cirque is not necessarily performing as well as he is, for an example, on Overpass. I think you're right. I think his T-side struggles a little bit. He's struggling with finding the peaks, and he's struggling with getting into the right positions. And he is a guy that you can rattle out a little bit. If he doesn't get off to a good start, it's not normal to see Cirque all of a sudden just go banging in the game and get back into it. Whereas a guy like Elo, as you referred to, a Forest for that matter, for NIP, they don't really mind if they have a good or bad start to the game. You know that they will show up if they have the edge of the game, so to speak.
Well, in terms of two teams that are pound for pound pretty close to one another, let me get your thoughts, guys, on who's going to be kind of walking away with this opening matchup, or is it going to be an easy affair?
It's not going to be an easy affair. I think this, like I said, it's going to be a bit of a toss-up, honestly. But I'm going to quantify the team play factor here more and go for North. I mean, yes, if players like Cirque and NRG, for that matter, as a unit, get a strong start, yes, they can run away with it. But I feel like the quantity that North is going to be able to bring on the server in terms of how they play together and how they progress through the rounds is just going to prevail.
I think this is going to be a very telling game for what we can expect from NRG and North moving on into the tournament. Obviously, one of these teams will end up losing the game, but the fact that they've had two so different preparation coming into this one, North have been boot camping 6 days in a row and been really preparing hard for this tournament. Obviously, it's in Denmark, so they want to do well. Whereas NRG, they went to the Malta event and had a fine showing, went into the final. But there's something to be said about having a boot camp where you play 10 hours a day and you actually practice, and being at an event where you get to play 1 or 2 matches a day and that's it, you know. So I think preparation-wise, North is having the edge here, and I think that's what's going to prevail as well in this matchup. So it should be North winning, but I think it's going to be a close one.
No Danish bias, of course.
No Danish bias at all.
0%. I kind of like that. I think you're onto something there, but it will be an interesting thing too, because we can start to talk a little bit about if you get started slow here, you're not making it helpful for yourself at all. And I guess, are either one of these teams victims of being slower starters?
I wouldn't necessarily say so.
Yeah. No, not really. I don't think that's like kind of a something that we will pinpoint on either of the teams that, you know, they like to, or they tend to be kind of slow in the starts. I'm not sure whether or not I think NRG would be the one that would get rattled more than the North if it goes down that way. I feel like, you know, that just the way that North right now is structured, and like I said, Ave, I think, has a massive help in that regard as well. We know him having a massive pass in 1.6, being a great tactical mind in the game. I'm sure he will have the presence that will help them go through some kind of a struggle here and there. And here, obviously, Cadian, I think, is a great talking point, considering that he was a bit of a leftover, or a left out, if you will, in the Danish scene for the longest time. You know, we know a few years back, for example, he was the man who was always called in to stand in for TSM, for example, then having to go over to the NA side of things, going to Rogue and making that into an actual competitive, competitive team, and then getting called into to be the leader of North. You know, it's kind of it's been a cool progression for him as an individual.
It's kind of a homecoming, if you will, and I'm pretty sure if there's someone that could tell us about Danish Counter-Strike, it'd be you, Jacob. What is the sentiment, the vibe about KDN returning to Denmark?
I think it's good right now. I think, as you said, he was the leftover within the Danish scene for quite some time. I remember having played with him a few times, and I also have had the chance to kick him from my teams a few times. Back then, we didn't feel he had what it took, you know, to
he
be
felt a little immature at times.
That's just how it was. We didn't feel that he was good enough, so he got the boot, and it was way easier back then than it is today, obviously. But he sort of, as you said, he redefined himself. He went over to America and made a very competitive team, and he showed some of that skill that he has as well as an individual, and that's something that is valued very high in these days of Counter-Strike. You cannot have an in-game leader sort of like the type of existence or depth. Those guys are being looked down at a lot these days. So if you can be a modern in-game leader, being a guy who frags just like Glaive and also in-game lead, you have the whole package, and that's what he brings into this teams compared to MSL. He was a great in-game leader. He was a decent leader, I would say so as well, but he didn't have the fragging ability that KDN has. Now that he can also op, well, he takes up basically 3 roles in one, and that's, you know, a modern in-game leader, and that's what you want when you bring in a guy like that. There's value for money, so to speak.
I mean,
a true utility.
Come on, MSL already, he won an MVP over AWPing, so...
And that was the biggest surprise that CSGO ever seen, I think.
Yeah, and then guess what happens right after that? So that didn't necessarily last too long, but I think we're almost ready to get into the game. Not quite, but we are almost there. I think they were wrapping up the knife round and some loose ends over in the tournament floor, so these things happen. It's not a huge deal.
Bit of a huddle going on there.
Yeah, at least within Danish Counter-Strike, it's been a fantastic year. Obviously, maybe even a couple of years at this point. Yeah. And that's not even to just point at Astralis. I mean, we're talking about Danes emerging. We've seen Danes go to NA, and now Danes are back.
Yeah, I mean, Astralis obviously have been a great success story for Denmark, but I do think that North and Optic, like those two lineups, have been big disappointments for Denmark. I think they should be better than they are right now. North is
especially Optic,
right? They're just outrageously bad. But for North, it's one of those points where I feel they have potential to more, and I feel they haven't really rewarded that potential enough this year. So I think they can be looked down, and you can say that North have not had the best year of Counter-Strike, but where Danish Counter-Strike really have prevailed is down in the tier 2, tier 3 areas. You know, we have a team like teams.
And we haven't even mentioned Heroic yet.
We haven't mentioned Heroic, we haven't mentioned Fragsters, and there's plenty of other teams down there that has the talent to be at tier 2 or tier 3 tournaments. So if they can build something up for 2019, I'm expecting to see more and more Danish teams coming into the events.
Let's say that there should be ingredients to create 2 or 3 more like really good Danish teams that can fight for that top 15, even top 10 mark.
I'm still standing here, right?
And you're still talking about Counter-Strike here instead of playing.
Yeah, well, we're going to be playing some Counter-Strike shortly. It does appear as though North has returned to their chairs. They've gotten their little huddle out of the way. And if I had to ask, Jacob, what do you think they said in that huddle?
They are a very serious team when it comes down to the huddle. So they have just went over, you know, some points. You know, Ava probably said, you know, be ready of this, be ready for that, be ready for this. And then KDN took over probably and said something along the lines of, let's go, boys, you know, and try to rattle up the guys. So they focused, but they also want a little bit of energy. And that's, you know, it's that balance between not getting too turned on and maintaining, you know, some sort of emotional balance. And that can be a tough one to play with sometimes.
It's very true. I mean, it's very team dependent as well. How do you cope with
for example, ENCE is a great example, right? You don't really yell that much, do you?
No, I mean, but they still have like a discussion where they go through specific different things, and it's really team dependent what you want to talk about. You know, it might be reminding of individual players of certain aspects and certain things that the opposing side likes to do in any given situation, and so forth and so forth. And that can be the way that you want to approach it. For the other teams, it's just shooting crap, basically, you know, talking about the weather or whatever, just random things, basically. Take your mind off in the game for a little bit so that you can then dial in and be 100%.
So that you can try to beat down that anxiety for as long as you can. I don't know that that's the most stable platform, but I suppose it does have its perks from time to time. Sort of like our perk of this and us going into the game, because it's just about time for us to get into the train yard. So grab your conductor hats. We're going to be throwing over to what is the caboose of the broadcast, of the production. That would be definitely Harry and Hugo, because I'm pretty sure that this one's got to be a North one as well, boys.
I call them the B team. I don't know about you.
The B team?
The B team.
Yeah, it's not so bad. I suppose they could be worse than the B team. Matthew, you got anything to say about those guys? Wherever they are. Well, we don't know where they are.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen them. Where are they?
I know they're here.
That's my point, right?
We do throw to them.
Okay.
Yeah, so either way, we're going to be going to the commentators rather shortly. And it would appear that time is now. Train between NRG and North. And let's go ahead and give it over to the commentators.
Yeah, thank you very much. B stands for best. We are the best team. I'll give you that, Hugo. I have to agree. B could also stand for Byron. There's lots of things it could stand for.
Brighton?
Brighton, yeah, exactly. But you know what I won't stand for? The fact that, you know, these guys aren't predicting North to take this. I'm a big fan of NRG, but I think North, I think they've got a trick up their sleeve. You know, you've got Cadian in here, trains a great map for this North squad. NRG, they're pretty good on it. I think it's going to be interesting to see that Cirque, you know, versus Cadian duel, that head-to-head between the two heavyweight AWPers on either side. But only time will tell, Hugo. We're getting into this. Pistol round's already underway. North going to be heading over here toward the B bomb site early on. Well, NRG do have a pretty hefty stack, and it's going to be a pretty grating start here for the North side as NRG, between Ethan and Breezy, find all 5 kills in a matter of seconds. Already this pistol round is over. And Hugo, I'm going to give you your first chance to talk now. Okay, no, this round I actually, you know, in the whole game thus far. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. North, they tried to bring the Raw, Harry. Instead, they brought the Snore. They were all sent to bed early, you know, 9 p.m., straight to bed. They got school early the next morning. That was a decimation on the B bomb site. Well, not even on the bomb site, in the halls. They barely got there. And as you said, Breezy and Ethan just locking it down. So great start for NRG, and full Glocks here for North in the second.
There we go, by the way. That's Bastion on screen.
Hello, hello. Give us a smile, Bastion. You can't hear us.
Yeah, he just shook his head. What even is that?
These
feeling
toxic,
good.
Unbelievable, man.
I do like that we get to see the observers though now. They're like proper mole men though, aren't they? They're in there like no lights on or anything, like just huddled around the only light source in the room, which is the computer monitor, foaming at the mouth as they get to watch some Counter-Strike. And you know, aren't we all foaming at the mouth, Hugo? I hope we are, or else I've distracted something. But here's Ethan keeping an eye on the push towards this B bomb. It's like Cadian, he's just been hit by a nade. Really not having the best of days. Valdet, AZ, and Kierby all going to get knocked on down. And Cadian, the iconic everyone go B and I'll take bomb A, everyone's favorite matchmaking strategy, didn't pan out for him, sadly. You understand why you do it, though, because maybe it does work, right? Like, you've only got Glocks. You probably don't win that round.
I'd love to know how many times that works. So if you run that in practice, right? Obviously, like
according to my teammates in matchmaking all the time.
Yeah, I just feel like when you go into rounds like that, I don't even mind if you have one smoke, throw it down ramp and just go for the B play. You can typically get a bomb plant if the SMGs don't wreck you. But yeah, either way, it doesn't make too much of a difference. It was a pretty dull round anyway. North only had Glocks, but now they have guns, Harry. Now they have AK-47s, and they're up against the bonus of NRG. 3 SMGs still in play, and you can play faster on the network for gamers. That is Vodafone on the right, so check out the hashtag alongside hashtag ESL Pro League.
Yeah, I think actually Vodafone was just like voted one of the best mobile phone network over in the UK. How great is that?
Good for them.
I'm a big fan, but
I'm a Vodafone fan.
Yeah, that's actually genius. There you go. Someone write that down. And me and Hugo rather will be taking our 20% commission for that strap line. Vodafans.
Well, we've got this deep Ivy control from Cirque, and that gives a lot of info. The thing is, he's not going to be able to win a duel at this kind of range, especially not with Valdi watching it, but he'll just fall back, he'll get the info. He spotted the bomb here as well, most importantly, and now that's why we see that rotation. Ethan moving closer towards the connector to allow him to hit A. He's not going to fully rotate because there's no way North are rushing. They've barely even taken Ivy control just yet. But with 45 seconds left up, North have been holding on to the utility for a long time during this default. They're ready to go for an execute, and it's looking like A will be the decision.
Yeah, indeed it will. They're lining up these smokes and flashes to try and head on in, and you can't see spearhead of this charge is going to be Valde, the man bringing it in the front, pushing on out. Easy, actually the first to get dropped. It's Daps holding close to this MP9, and he's done a lot of damage. The Famus now on Breezy, chipping down that many more. And just Valde and Cadian left standing. It's actually going to be everybody falling there for this North squad. NRG. 3-0 lead. That was the attempted buy as well from North, so they're going to be running low on money. They can afford to maybe throw a couple of deagles, a couple of pistols into this round, but you really think about, you know, the one problem you're going to have now if you are North is you haven't really had any success in any of these rounds, right? You've got nothing to build on. The foundations aren't there for you to be like, okay, well, at least this kind of worked. Like, there were a few parts of it, because thus far it's just been a decimation wherever. But they do at least get to test the waters here with this partial investment. They can maybe try and play a bit of a slower round. Instead, just rushing this B-bomb site, barreling on in. Fugly's going to try and hold his own, and he actually will manage the first two. Lots of damage onto Valde at that. This bomb should get denied by that nade. Indeed it will. So Cadian and AZ left up 2v3. They have to first
missed the bomb.
Grab this bomb, and Cadian, that's a real problem.
Yeah, he lost his only opportunity there. He had to get the bomb, but he didn't walk forward far enough. And as a result, NRG locking down another confident round. I mean, if you're North there and you're going for that ramp rush, look at how easily they caught out Fugly. Fugly was not ready for that. He had a Molotov in his hand. He was switching nades. He barely got his gun out in time. And he still got 2.5 kills before he went down. That should never be happening. North should be winning that duel instantly. So, yeah, I mean, that's more of a case of North not hitting their shots down on ramp. And Fugly was not ready for it, but props to him for getting away with the damage he did. It opened up the round and allowed that nade to stop the bomb plant, so North have no real money. I mean, they've got that loss bonus kicking in next round. Easy! Whoa! 2 deagles. Not going to be able to close out the round, but that is some fantastic damage to NRG. It won't work for just the moment, but it could break their money in the future if North can win a rifle round. And they do have the AWP to try and get that done, Harry. Pulled into Cadian. Cirque has his own, though, on the CT side, so it will be that AWP duel we're waiting for. Yeah, I mean, look at that. If you can't get a kill out of that, I don't know what.
Ooh, we get to see the... there was some nice shots from AZ, and I always like it when AZ gets off to a good start. And as you're saying, as you highlighted, now we get to see the AWP duel between Cadian and Cirque, and that's what I've been personally looking forward to seeing. But it's a slow start here from North, bit of a slow burning round, and that's what you kind of want to see, right? They tried the whole playing things fast early on, it hasn't exactly worked out for them, and now they can just play this slower default. They have all the utility they need. They have the AWP on Cadian. You've got all the pieces of the puzzle. Now you've just got to assemble it. Now that is sort of the whole point of a puzzle.
We just saw a really nice nade from Daps that went in through the top window and engaged, I'm pretty sure. He's low, and I didn't see if the nade did the damage, but I saw him set it up, so quite interesting there. Expecting players above the pop dog, and now North are inside of the pop dog with 1 pick to their name as well. They fell in early, AZ got that kill. And now man advantage. This is a very good situation for North to be in. They've once again held on to all their utility so they can go for that late round execute. Right now they're in the phase of just waiting to see if NRG re-aggress. Very common to do when you're on that CT side and you're down a man. Commonly CT's taking main, and that's why North are being so cautious trying to move back into this position. There'll be no one there, but Cirque has a good off angle towards the E-box to try and catch a man out, and Daps is drawing the attention in.
This shot from Cirque, uncharacteristically so, and there's Cadian instantly taking up position and shut him down. Valde chiming in with another. But Daps, things heating up, getting a bit uncomfortable here, a little bit hot under the collar as the Molotov forces him out and into the arms of Jade. And NRG, they will get shut down across the board. The first round locked on in here for the North squad.
And really nice from North, like great reaction to the information they had. Obviously, when they lose that man in pop, when they lose the man in pop dog after Daps gets the trade, it certainly looks like it could have fallen apart with Cirque already trying to bait them in on that angle. But unfortunately, he misses a shot. Cadian gets the quick trade. They molly out Daps there, and it's just a clean, smooth sailing from North. Going forward with 4 guns into that next round, and yeah, just really well-timed peek from Cadian. Not necessarily sending the AWP out first to try and find the entry, but it's instantly in with a trade, or, essential, hypothetical trade. Not that it's needed after Cirque misses. So 4-1 up. NRG can still buy for this round at least, but do you remember 2 rounds ago, AZ got a couple of kills with the Deagle that made this very costly, so NRG, if they lose this one, they're straight down to pistols themselves. Ethan, curious as ever towards the pop dog. We've got this close main setup again with the AWP of Cirque. North are fine with playing an extremely passive early default. They are no real map control apart from Ivy and the box halls, right? They're in spawn, they give away T-Con. They're yet to really make a push into pop dog. But here's where the Ivy run boost comes in. Cadian trying to work out where the AWP is for NRG.
This pop flash into pop dog. Almost netting them the early man advantage once again, but this time Ethan's actually there to bail out Cirque from that push. North, in the meantime, have creeped up through Ivy, and they're going to smoke this off now, try and turn their attention in toward this CT area of the map. They have to go back for the bomb, and you can see Cadian, he's been rotated off. This does leave Valde high and dry and on his lonesome, though. Breezy catches the timing. Well, they're not going to leave much of the imagination when he disappears into that smoke. Kirby now barreling out from main, does have players alongside him. He's got a lot to do here, and as Cirque drops his teammate in the form of Gade, Kirby's task becomes that much more insurmountable. Breezy in with another, it's Cadian left up. And in a 1v4, only 7 seconds after, it's just not happening. NRG, a 5th round to their name.
Yeah, NRG have been doing a good job of winning these pop dog fights, and they can be very, very difficult as a CT side. You know, you can easily get caught out while fighting pop dog from main pushes by the terrorists, but NRG are not letting that be a problem. This AWP from Cirque able to hold down the line as well, and Ethan having a strong round on that A-bomb site. So 5-1 up for NRG. The reset onto North right as they win 1, which is always a hard one to bounce back from, considering we are on a very CT-sided map. And obviously they're going to buy. They save the AWP. They have a little bit more money, but one player is going to be limited to a Deagle. However, it is AZ, and we saw what he can do with that weapon.
Yeah, AZ does love a Deag. And yeah, the Deag loves AZ. I think it's like Harry Potter in that sense. You know, the wand chooses the wizard. Yeah, that's what they say. You know, the Deagle chooses the Deager.
It's the possessive of a Deag.
I think that's right, yeah, Deagy.
So that nade has just wrecked Cadian, and it is Daps throwing that. So I'd love to see next time we see Daps get up close, Bastion, if we could see exactly the lineup. He's throwing it in through the top window by Popdog.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, but I'm also excited about this because the push comes in over here toward this B bomb. So NRG, they're playing a retake setup, so this is going to be North in a good spot to try and find a round, and also we get to kind of see this NRG defense really tested for the first time in this B bomb site. You know, or at least not just them wiping the floor with North off the bat. Now this D from AZ hasn't netted them anything just yet. Kirby, he has gone aggressive, and he has been rewarded for it. He's managed 2 quick frags, leaving Ethan and Daps now in the hot seat. And Daps, he's got his protractor out, but he doesn't have any nades, no trigonometry, no quick creations for him to find anything in this one. It's just got to be raw aim, and it's going to get picked off. It's Ethan left up in the 1v2. He might just try and hold the bomb, and he can't find it in the smoke. He's now on it. Flash goes down. Valde going to pick him off, so it will be North finding a second. You get a little bit worried there, but they were able to get Ethan off the defuse pretty quickly. And now NRG, you know, what was once looking like a great start to this, they've run out of money. So, you know, some problems maybe starting to, you know, arrive on the horizon here for this North American squad.
Yeah, I mean, you see the value of buying up there after they get reset. North lose the previous round. They get guns back in because they saved the AWP off of Cadian, and he pushes deep and gets some kills. Kirby has a massive one, and now they break the CT money. This can be so fragile, and when you're buying up these AWPs on Cirque and the full utility, it's so easy to just get overwhelmed after 1 or 2 rounds where you lose some players, but don't necessarily lose the round. And now it's finally come back to haunt NRG. Their nightmares becoming reality. 5-2 here, and this is how North gets back in the game. It's similar to the G2 Liquid bomb where we just saw G2 go up 6-0, 6-1, and then Liquid, they get the money in order, they get one real big buy, and then they're just back in the half, storming through. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we see here from North. AZ starting off with a great game, Kirby with a crucial previous round. On the other side of things, it's Ethan looking really good, 11-4. Can he keep that up as NRG decide to force?
Let's see, as Ethan, he's taken the force in his stride. He's gone barreling into Popdog and taking this aggressive stance with the MP9. Now, we've seen North try and challenge for this portion of the map time and time again. They throw in that pop flash, and then they just play the one man down into this position. And they've normally taken control of Pop relatively casualty-free. It's only been on the duels out towards that A-bomb site where things get called into question a bit. With Ethan being there on the MP9, it's kind of a bit easier to flash him off the angle. He's very committed. He can't just, you know, waltz out the door. He's got a bit of a jog before he gets to safety. So he does decide to leave that position for the time being. Now I'm going to return to it, maybe play a bit closer to that door for the reasons just stated. Smoke now starts to dissipate. You can see for North, now they get interested in what this A-bomb site might have in store. They know that they've weaned out most of the utility from this NRG squad. They haven't received any aggression just yet. They know that if this is the buy, which at this point they figured out that it is, they're not going to have much utility to work with. They are going to be very strapped for cash. Now, this flash going to miss its mark. Ethan's allowed to stay here in the pop dog for the time being. This bomb's over at B. The rest of the boys trying to sell this A-side fake. The issue's going to be that Ethan heard everything. He heard those footsteps charging in towards B. And now, Fugly's even managed to wrap on past him. They've sandwiched in Katie in here. That's an AWP picked up. This bomb has to go down. There's only 15 seconds, and Fugly might be able to deny it. He's going to get there in time. And oh no, surely North don't have this round slip through their fingers, but they will. AZ's left up in a 1v4, and it's just not happening. Try as he might. There's no time left. NRG managed a 6th.
What on earth is that? I have no idea how that all happens in the way it does. Everyone swapping positions. That push up from Fugly, as you said, wins him the round. It drops the AWP. He comes back in, saves the bomb as well. And I don't know who it was deep in CT on that north side, but they should be covering their teammate going for the plant. That should have never been a drop bomb from Fugly after, he gets that kill on Cadian. There's 5-6 seconds where North can call, okay, he's killed me. He's probably just going to flank the bomb plant. There's 10 seconds left. Be real, guys. So some massive errors for North there, and I mean that's a round where you can't afford to give it up. We were going into the narrative that okay, North, they've broken the money, this is how they get back in the game, and then NRG win a round with 2 SMGs, a pistol on Daps with no armor, and 2 rifles, but it's actually the SMG that does it all.
Yeah, which, for North, that's a pretty devastating spot to be in. You lose it all to the back of the MP9. It only really fell apart because that bomb plant gets denied. No one was actually near enough to the bomb site to get the bomb down anyway.
Yeah, I think if that went down, they would be fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was exactly why the whole, all the players over in A just sort of got wiped out, because it was that very quick panic moment of, like, if we don't get the kills, we lose this round now that that bomb's been dropped. But, so now, the North, back to the drawing board.
And they run out of pens.
Yeah, it's just a board.
Yeah.
They're not even drawing on it.
Someone's eaten all the Crayolas, Harry.
They are tasty. I can't say I blame them. I used to eat them all the time when I was a kid.
That explains a lot.
Definitely does.
Oh, smokes out B here for North. Pistols in their hands. Fugly's going to have a firing line. He can't see it, but he only needs to just shoot. 2 kills. Daps on the site. A nice attempt from North, but close positions is going to be the death of them. They might even get a plant after all. Fugly can't decide to push here. He doesn't want to give away a kill because they picked up that rifle on the site. It's safer for North for NRG to play safe, to give away that bomb plant and just come in for the sweep, the retake. 7 rounds here on the CT side here for North, for NRG. Man, I'm getting these names wrong, aren't I? I'm failing here, but either way, North, they've got a bye coming up.
Yeah, they do, and they can take solace in that fact at the very least. They won't have the AWP though. Gade could maybe drop one over to Cadian, but that doesn't seem all too likely, and yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to. So, very convincing start here from NRG, and I do think that's going to be a little bit worrying. North not exactly exploding into this game. You take a look at this buy here, and it's not fantastic. I do kind of hate to break that to you, but AZ and Gade really being the bulk of the utility here in this round. Worrying thing is they've kind of usually been the 2 of the 3 players that we see spearheading a lot of these charges. So if you lose the utility on them, thanks to an early frag going the way of NRG, then you've thrown away the bulkier equipment into this round. And there you go, it's Gade falling. So his utility belt stripped away from them. AZ, the only man left up, throws the 1 smoke that he has down towards his B bomb site. Now going to look to try and rejoin with Cadian.
Oh, what a shot from Ethan. He's just been on point this game, hasn't he? Another kill, another headshot. 1v3 left up for AZ. It won't happen. Ethan's on 16 frags there. And that exchange up ramp is interesting from the side of NRG for the reasons of, Cirque, he gets that first kill. That's when Fugly turns around and gets himself another one. And the reason that it doesn't actually turn out too well is because Cirque feels like he should commit to that fight. Commit to that position because Fugly's being hung out to dry on his own, and so he stays there and gets wallbanged by Valde. If that was Cirque on his own, he peeks it, he gets a kill, he falls off. But if anything, it is still that 2 for 2. That's not actually that bad considering Ethan found the man advantage. But either way, it's going to be NRG going forward with another one, Harry. And not much North have really set into this game so far. We're back down to pistols once again. It just seems like a repetitive here for the T's. And no nades behind this either.
And I mean, you know, one of the things is you know, we look at the addition of Cadian into this squad and the effect it had initially, and it felt like, you know, they kept a lot of the sort of same tactical depth they had when MSL was in the roster. But I mean, right now, we're not really seeing anything here. I don't really think that we've seen much variation apart from just these kind of, you know, they've either played for just the default or like a rush in toward the B bomb site. Those have really been the two strats in the strat book here for North. They have been allowed to get AZ out through main. Oh, he's going to land a nice little shot onto Breezy. One nice shot is not enough, though. You need about 5 if you want to pick up a round. So let's see. Can AZ continue? No, he can't continue to build on it. Kirby certainly can. He's got his bricks out as him and Gay trying to build something in this round. Bomb could go down. That alone is a bit of a victory here for North, but they're looking for more than that. And oh, they spot the little feet. Gay, though, still going to pick up the kill. And now it's Cirque. 1v2, a 1v2 that never should have been. Truth be told, it's up on top of the buff. Cirque going to shut down the first man, and now just Kirby. Going to try and be the star child of North in this one. Molotov forces him out of position. Smoke goes down on the bomb from Cirque, and he taps it. That's going to draw Kirby's attention out of the open, but he didn't spot him on the bomb. He knows that it was a fake. Cirque is wrapped around. Sniffs out Kirby. It's the Bulgarian Bloodhound picking up a 3K in this one as he cements the 9th round for NRG.
And as mentioned, I think it was by Chad on the desk saying that, okay, maybe this isn't, you know, the best map for Cirque. He's very good at maps like Overpass, for example, and you kind of need your AWPer to step up. Well, hey, he just showcases his individual skill. May not be going in and getting 2-3 kills around with the AWP, but that's a crucial 1v2 that keeps North honest right now. It was a chance for them to get a 3rd round off the back of pistols, which would have, you know, flung their economy into a really good spot. But yeah, it's not looking too good for them right now. North, as you can see on the bottom there, saying only 1 opening kill this entire game. That's 11 rounds, Harry, and 10 of the times NRG have taken the initial frag. Definitely not looking good. North looking to double that number here with AZ pushed up, but it's, well, history repeating itself. It's the double setup from NRG, and this time Fugly and Cirque both find a kill each. North again getting locked out of this round.
Kirby has been able to cause a bit of a ruckus, though, here at A. Now they know where the chief noisemaker is for North. They're going to try and deal with him. He sits down in the sandwich right now. North grinding to a halt. They still have a minute to play with. Cirque is going to get spotted, and he does. Missed that shot onto Valde. Has been allowed to creep down close. As a result, Valde's going to manage 2, almost a 3rd onto Breezy. Kirby now trying to step up, trying to get this trade. He's going to cement it. Cadian and Kirby left standing in a 2v1, and Fugly alone and on the bomb trade. Desperate to clutch this out and reach that 10-2 scoreline. For NRG and for North, this is a real way back into this game if they manage to pick this up. Fugly's going to now look to try and reroute. And he does just sit silently. And it's worked. Trying to bait the fact that maybe he's rotated away. They're going to duck on by him. And oh, they just miss each other. The timing just not meant to be. Flash rains out, and Fugly, he's read this. He knows that they've pushed in towards B. He hears the footsteps. He knows exactly what's going on. He has a very clear picture of how they've played this round. Will he be ready, though, for Kirby? Bites his tongue. Fugly, good for one more. Now just Cadian left to topple, but Cadian's going to do it. And North, a 3rd round of their name as they manage to keep their cool in the 2v1.
You can see Ave trying to hype them up as well after that one. This is it. This is, you know, the round we can start to find something off the back of. Great work from North, actually winning that 2v4 situation on the bomb site as well. I mean, Valde actually having some crucial impact kills. It's actually a 3v4 rather, but either way, yeah, that needed to happen. We needed someone to step up here right now. For the side of North, it's just been no individual heroics, and finally having one of them is Valde going ahead and getting a couple of key kills. We're still reaching the end of the half, though, Harry. It's 9-3 right now. It's not the end of the world for North, considering they only need a few more to really be satisfied, maybe with a T-side of train, but they would have wanted, you know, a 9-6 at very least. And while it's still doable, that's not going to be easy. However, with NRG buying up into this round, no AWP, 1 kit, and some SMG still in play.
And I mean, just look at Ethan at the top of the board right now. 121 ADR. That is just a terrifying sight if you are the North squad. The Danes really hoping they'd gone off to a better debut here, you know, in their home country. Who knew? Danes from Denmark.
Fun fact.
Yeah, we're really going above and beyond with the facts this time around. Here's Breezy. This man, certainly not from here. Gotta spot the head of Gade. And has done a little bit of damage, but this is just forced North's hand in toward the B bomb site. And that's the perfect play from them. Only Fugly here. They're playing this retake setup, and Fugly's already had to back off. This gives so much room to North to go aggressive, and then you have Valde pincering in for this late flank.
Oh, yeah, they were ready for that. You could see Daps push down as well on Ivy. He was waiting for some kind of Ivy play from North. Clearly read the play, and that's why they, as you said, played retake and fell back off of the bomb site. And it's worked out so well. A 4-on-3 with low HP on the North side of things. AZ getting cornered, the smoke to try and allow him to cross, and he even kills Fugly climbing up into heaven. Gets a chance to move into the open as well. Ethan closing the distance and needs to check the site, but Gade's already found the headshot. 1v2 left for Gade, and this is so doable. The time is ticking, and Gade is firing off on all cylinders. Breezy, the last man alive, and he may get the kill, but I don't know if there's going to be time left. He just grabs the kit, but it's already gone.
Yeah, ultimately, it's not easy for Breezy there in that clutch scenario. And North going to be able to go ahead and pick up another. They are finding their footing now towards the latter stages of this first half. They are now fielding a very reputable scoreline indeed. Or at least they have the potential to go on to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a 5th round surely for North, right? We have a near full eco for NRG. There's no reason to force buy here because 9 rounds is still fine for them, but they'll have a full buy in the last round of the half, and that's the only question mark for me right now is, will this be a 9-6? Will this be a 10-5? We'll find out, but surely this is North's.
Yeah, I mean, it should be, right? You've only got Breezy with this one AK. He's looked good. Gotta look better than ever is the one problem in this round already. Ethan actually doing a lot of damage. He's allowed to overstay his welcome out here for quite some time. Now they start to push on into him, and they will be able to mop that up. AZ, Valde, and Cadian lighting up the scoreboard, lighting up the server. Daps gets dropped. Finally going to manage one. Actually, Valde and Kievi are both very low on HP, so it's lucky that AZ's able to deal with the threat very, very promptly there. Because, you know, sometimes those almost full eco rounds do get out of hand. They do get worrying. Cadian, the man on your screen, he's not one to really, you know, not knowing to let those rounds get too out of hand. But, you know, it almost does. 9-5.
Crunch time. Cirque's back on the AWP here. We've not really seen too much AWPing, or if any, really, from North on their T side. Cadian had it a couple of early rounds in which he actually won a duel versus Cirque, but by and large it's been rifles, and that's more been down to the money than anything. I mean, last round North only just got a buy together, and Fugly this time he gets caught out of position. We see North actually find success on a B rush, because this is the first time that NRG have not put 2 players there when North have tried to take control. Deep Molotovs, Ethan coming through connector, or at least trying to, but there's so much fire all around. Daps is spotted on the flank, and there's no utility really for the retake apart from 2 Molotovs and a smoke. But North still with a man advantage here.
Nice splash, and that allows Breezy to manage a quick double. And now North potentially in trouble. Valde able to peek on out. Good for one. Players wrapping round behind. Valde's there, and he's going to go ahead and shut down Daps as well. Not content with 2. Valde steps up to the challenge. He's on to a 3rd. The very end of things, Kierby locks in at that 6th round there for the North squad. It's going to be 9-6, which, you know, you consider this was, what, 9-2 at one point in time in favor of NRG. It's a great turnaround from the North side.
And in terms of impact, Valde's having all of it there. I mean, round number 12, the one round where, you know, North is stuck in a 3-on-4. They need a hero play. Valde comes in with 2 crucial kills, and which essentially sets them up to win the 2-on-2. And then there in the final round of the half, NRG starting to get a grip on things, and Valde just locks down the bomb site at the post plant with 3. So nice work to see Valde coming, you know, coming in hot today into this game. 6 rounds on the half, certainly nothing to be worried about for North considering how dominant this started off, but NRG now moving over to the T side with players like Ethan just hitting their shots definitely poses a threat.
Oh, it almost certainly does. For me, you know, over on the North side, AZ's looked fantastic. Valde steps up in that last round. I want to see a little bit more from Gade, because for me, you know, he's always been such an interesting player to watch. I've always enjoyed seeing him at the very least, and I think, you know, he's someone who, whenever he kind of joins teams, he does make a very big splash early on. So, you know, maybe not having the game of his life just yet. In this squad, he does kind of slot into that supporting role there, so you can forgive him for it. Cadian on the AWP as well is, you know, hasn't had the best of performance. You don't really have Cadian as like your flashy AWPer, though. Normally he is just kind of, you know, he's someone who does it very, very solidly, but you're not going to be looking at him to AWP in the same way that someone's, you know, someone like Cirque might, where he's just kind of, you know, you can give him an AWP, be like, go kill.
Oh my god, look at this buy from NRG.
That is a lot of utility. That is the most I've ever seen in a pistol round. My goodness. What has Dat's been doing? I mean, we know he's come up with some fancy nades, right? Because we saw that nice at one he's been throwing into pop. But what's the grand scheme here?
You could throw a lot of fakes for this round. The only problem is every player that dies is like a quarter of utility gone, and Hazy's already killed 2 of those men. It is still the A push, but it's the A push to their death, Harry.
Yeah, they were hoping for something a little bit better than this. It's a 2-on-3. Neither of these players have armor either, so the aim punch could be playing into this fully. They do have control of the bomb as well on the side of North. Valde and Co just sitting on it like a mother hen to her, I almost said nest, I meant to say eggs. Nest is right too. So that's going to be backing away.
Oh.
He will have his wings clipped though as he gets shot in the back by Cadian. You can see that lack of armor somewhat punishing him here at these longer ranges as well. He's going to be brought down to 16 HP, waiting patiently for Breezy to get into a position on this flank. The only issue is surely there's no way that Cadian, you know, he must know that a man could be behind him now. It's been a very long time. Cirque's going to be able to find that. So now we're 2-on-2 and still a chance here for NRG in this round.
Yeah, the problem is coming down this pop is so difficult, and look at the health left on these 2 players. Surely undoable. They almost catch the timing where AZ moves out, but he goes back in and avoids a flashbang. Cirque's up for the chopping block, and AZ looking to fire in that final bullet. He's going to get taken down instead. The rotate from Valde needs to come back on into the A site because Breezy, he has time to even fake this plant. He spots the head, he fakes the bomb, and Valde moves into his death. What a sick round from Breezy and Cirque. Able to win out a huge one for NRG. How on earth do they do that?
Well, I mean, with all that utility, I was hoping we were going to see smoke and mirrors, but instead we just saw straight chicken dinners. It was NRG finding themselves the pistol here in this second half.
Yeah, and that's the problem with a round like that when you just have loads of utility. Like getting into positions that you want to set it up from Pop Dog, for example, is so difficult. You know, unless you dedicate a lot of nades to going down there, which they didn't, and that's what I'd like to see. You know, if you're going to buy up that many nades, I'm not sure what the game plan was because it just didn't go to plan. But you know, use a Molotov, get a player out of the Pop Dog. Either way, not the end of the world. They still win the round. So 10-6 here for NRG, and North, they need a response here. They've now lost both pistols.
Yeah, NRG, they were able to convert that in the first half. Let's see if they can get that done here. You imagine North just take the eco in this round, go for the buy up in the next, and that will be the call indeed. You don't have to, you know, take the risk of force buying here if you are North. You're not that desperate for rounds. You don't have a lead or anything to work with. They just want to try and play some nice conservative Counter-Strike. The one issue with going for the buy in this next round, well, it does mean you get an earlier purchase on the back of these, you know, latest economy changes, I guess would say. Not recent anymore as such, but you know, you do get to have rifles bought out. You're very limited in terms of utility, which could be a bit of a problem with you know, how NRG have looked so confident and so kind of willing to take these fights. Cadian
loves a bell. You okay, Harry?
I'm great. That bell means it's dinner time for NRG as they go pushing on out in toward the A-bomb site. He has literally rung the dinner bell. And while Daps looks hungry, he goes pushing on him. Maybe thirsty, maybe he's looking for Lemongade.
Cadian's still shooting the goddamn bell. He's going to run out of ammo. That USP is not as stocked. He's only got 20 bullets left, Harry. I'm sure that won't be a problem.
That's 20 more rings of the bell as far as Cadian is concerned. He's going back out there. Going to go back to spawn, buy some dualies. He keeps shooting at that all day long. That's pretty much all they're good for.
What, ringing bells?
Yeah.
look at this from NRG. They just crept into A, and they're about to completely ruin North's day. Dabs is in the back line. They all line up for him. 2 more. There's an AK being retrieved on Gabe, but Ethan's trying to get rid of that nice and cleanly in the CT spawn. He can jump this corner. Doesn't need to. Still found the headshot. That gun is up for the taking, though, and Kiebi going to find it. He should run. Try and save that for a rainy day. AZ still playing close here with the SMG, and Ethan's going to find that. So Kiebi, they can work out the fact that he's in spawn, and they will.
Yeah, Kiebi really working hard to try and hold on to this rifle. And hard work does pay off, as they say. He's going to find himself a quick double. Zerg's still here, but he knows he could be in trouble. He's walking into Kiebi, and he's going to find absolutely everyone. So he holds onto the AK, holds his own in CT spawn. And while NRG managed that 11th round, they lose everyone. And you look at the money now for NRG, and it's, you know, they don't even have a buy here, really.
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously got to go for it, but it's going to be limited. If you want to pull in AKs, you have to take the hit on utility. So NRG, it's all about balance. Work out what you want to do coming into this round, and then split the weaponry / utility, you know, dependent on what smokes and Molotovs you need, for example. So, yeah, that's annoying. You can see... Obviously, NRG have gone for an SMG with a couple of Galils, but North are bringing in the heat. They're bringing in the aggression, the deep Molotov, and AZ's pushed up as well. Dabs, he's going to be tagged in the corner. The pistol's out. It finishes off the frag. Gade's even found one as well. And while Breezy gets the trade, it's all about Gade with a double. Cadian coming from above, and North just muscling their way into a 7th round, shutting down the fast A play. And that's kind of what you would expect from NRG, considering they don't have utility. They want to take those close range fights. They want to try and, you know, force guns out of the hands of North rather than set up and go for a full execute.
Just go to smoke for back 2.
Yeah, we just heard the strap.
Yeah, they're going B.
Yeah, they got a smoke for it. Daps has given the call. Let's see, NRG. It's actually kind of cool being able to hear the strap.
I really like
seeing it happen. Yeah. That's the future. Odense is the tech hub of, I can't remember if it's Scandinavia or Europe.
One of them. Well, if it's from Europe, at least Scandinavia.
Yeah, exactly, right? I should have just said that and then not been wrong. Here's Valdet, joined by Cadian. NRG gonna go pushing on in to the moors of North. And will they hear the roar? Well, Zerg will, yeah, they all die. I was really hoping that we would have seen a bit more. They had a couple of frags going their way. It was looking exciting, but no. North very, very quickly clamp down on that B rush. And that's exactly what you want to see, right? They weren't really up against anything too scary. It was the investment from NRG. They tried to test the waters and see if they could get the force buy to work. And North, you know, very, very quick in the rotations. They doubled up inside of this B bomb site as well. You had this crossfire, the Molotov doing so much damage. Gade had even come rotating around. They had the read. They had the situation under control. And they've locked themselves in an 8th round. So this is still very much anyone's game here.
Yeah, very much doable for North. A 9th will most certainly be coming through with NRG on full Glocks. They might attempt another B play. Seems to be the decision being made. Valde is up here alone, but I mean, you know, from this position, in theory, you can just survive and you can get 2-3 kills and then just fall back. And the Glocks are going to have a really hard time of taking you out. But Cadian, he's going to have to rotate in. Valde misses the timing. They're coming out of upper. There's only one man down below, and Valde's going to join them as he gets sent to the dirt. Cadian throwing in the Molotov to try and deny the bomb plant, but I'm not sure if it landed deep enough. It didn't rebound off the wall. AZ's going to come in with a cleanup, and Cadian does catch the aggressive Ethan. So all in all, successful round for NRG. They don't spend a penny and they get, you know, $800 a player from that plant. But for North, yeah, no worries. Give away a bomb plant, lose a couple of guns. You still got a convincing rifle round coming up after this.
Also, a bit of a B stream update for you. MIBR just 16-2 Sharks.
Oof. That's never fun.
Yeah, so that was a pretty brutal affair. And yeah, I mean, certainly not the debut that Sharks would have liked, but focusing out on the game at hand, you can see, not slowly but surely, edging their way back into this matchup. Just 2 rounds separating them and NRG now. As that equalization is looming ever closer, the buy comes in for NRG into this one. So they do still have their chance to maintain the lead, but it's been a real turnaround from Kierby. You know, he wasn't having the most unreal performances early on. Now you can see he's sitting top of the board in terms of ADR. He's had a couple of these rounds where, yeah, since moving on to the CT side, where he had just looked that much more comfortable. But now we get to see rifles be rifles, and this is going to be the real bread and butter of it. Cirque's got the AWP out. Cadian's got the AWP for North. This is the big moment, the meat and potatoes of the dish. We've had the vegetables, we've had the starters. Now we get into the main course.
Is vegetables a starter?
I don't know.
How do you eat your meals? Harry's like, one by one. I eat all the carrots, then all the peas.
Every meal's 3 course if you do it that way.
Oh, that's a sick nade. That's really, really nice. So much damage off the back of that one from Valde, so that will definitely come back to hurt NRG and haunt them. It's already hurt them. Might try and throw in a bit of a B fake here. I wonder what the end game plan is, considering we still have 2 men up on Ivy and there's no one watching it for North apart from AZ, who's holding from the brown train in the middle of the site. That means 1 smoke and you instantly own the CT spawn and you can set up for a B wrap. I think that's probably where this is going to go for NRG. If they can get control of CT without taking this fight onto AZ and losing a man here, there's a very good chance you could see that standard B split. But the bomb already backing off, 2 players outside of Pop Dog here. So the game plan for NRG clearly looking like an A1.
Daps, though, going to go to take a shot to the chest. Able to get past the second time around. This push coming on in, NRG trying to collapse on through. There's only 15 seconds. That bomb has to get into this bomb site, has to go down. And North, they've fully rotated everyone on round. Breezy and Ethan are putting up the numbers, but if they don't punch in the numbers, this round could be all said and done, and they could win it on the back of time, but no. It's going to go down just in the nick of time, and Cadian now left in the 1v3. Does spot the first man crossing in the form of Breezy. For North, they don't need to go for this. If Cadian stays alive, they can get a bite in the next round, no problem, and have the AWPs to play with. They can have everything they possibly need. Cadian knows that. He will just back off and play more reserved, play that more conservative style. NRG be picking up a 12th round. But, you know, if you're North, you look at this, it's not the end of the world, right? You still have a healthy amount of time to get back into this game. You still have a bye in the following, and you have the potential now to reset NRG. So, you know, I do think this is the right call to make as Cadian backs off. He's normally pretty good in the clutch, but he doesn't really go for them all too much. He does just prefer to play, you know, that very calculated, very, very conservative style of CS.
That was a very well-drilled round, though, from NRG on that A bomb site, right? Because obviously, while we have the info that B would really be a nice call, there are 4 players on A. You have CT open, and you've got, you know, the control to drop down through the ramp with the bomb with only Valde there. I mean, that looked like it could have been a really nice B execute, but NRG, they go for their gut, and yeah, they just ruin everyone on A with that one. It seemed like the timing could have got the better of them, but NRG are 1 step ahead, and 12-9 is the score for now as they finally find a T-side round after 3 in a row for North. AZ again going to bring in some aggression. We've seen this before from North on that round where they had a weaker economy and a fairly weak buy. Worked out for them, but I'm sorry, it was NRG that had the weak buy with the SMGs and a couple of Galils, and North picked it up there again, so no fear in doing it once more. They've got 2 players on B. Gade's back in Pop. Same setup for NRG. This is their default right now. But obviously there's a lot you can do with this. You don't necessarily have to commit towards this Ivy play as well. You can easily pull these players back, send them into T-Con, bring them towards B if that's going to be the call being made. And also try and set up Cirque to try and find a pick. That would be something I'd like to see from NRG, but for now he's just playing that bomb rotation role, going back to the spawn and picking it up.
They had success here last time, right? So you can see that they're trying to get in the heads of North, trying to now slip by into CT. It's going to be this B player. Now the bomb rejoins of Fugly and Ethan. But they have to pick up the pace a little bit. Cadian's now rotated off. This does actually leave Valde alone, but he has picked off the point man, the man at the back. Breezy will be dealt with very, very quickly by North. Fugly chiming in with 1, but there's a bit of a gap in this smoke. Valde's even going to go barreling through it, and they're just not ready. Cirque completely caught off guard. Will get killed on the cross, and Ethan now trying to step up to the plate. Oh, almost killed Fugly. My goodness, very lucky there. wasn't a bit crisper and aim. Cadian's pushed on in and shuts down the first man. Fugly does what he can, but it's not enough. Because there he is, Gade, showing up, arriving in the back and getting the round back under control, putting the leash on NRG.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good read from NRG. They just go off the back of knowing the setup from the previous round and going for the Ivy split after all towards B. But for some reason, both the players, I think it was Daps and Breezy, that went around corners got caught in midair. One player jumped when going past the smoke and Ivy, and they got caught from above one of the trains, and the other one died in the spawn as well. You can see this is where Kiebi catches that kill, jumping only to try and hide, or trying to evade from the player in deep CT if there was one. And if anything, that catches out those NRG guys and doesn't allow for the B split after all. So unfortunate for them, but nice work from North to pick up another CT round, and that's a reset onto NRG. Certainly not a good time to have it, but they do have one more buy here.
Jacob will have to get a smoke.
You don't want my lower this. No, this has lowers.
We're trying to listen to the strat. Yeah. Couldn't make that out.
Okay, practice your Danish, Harry. Here we go.
Yeah. Cooling. That means chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I butchered the pronunciation, but...
Cooling.
Yeah, you've nailed it, mate. You're basically Danish. That's a kitten.
Yeah.
Or a little cat, yeah. I guess, is another way of saying it.
That's probably a better way of putting it, all right.
I like that, you know, everything that's a child version of it, just a little thing. Like a little dog.
You're a little human.
I mean, you're not even human, so, you know, there's always that.
Look at this from NRG. Look at this burst. They are going to go storming into the B site here. And if they can set up the AWP in the post plant, that'd be really nice as well. They've got no Molotovs, and Daps has got no legs. He's been... have them pulled out for him from underneath him. Valdi finding two through the wall as well. NRG are just offering themselves up on a plate, and Valdi, he's coming in for seconds. Cadian will catch the players moving towards the site, and Valdi's just wrapping in from behind. There's nothing NRG can do. It is all coming up north.
It certainly is, and you know, the start of this game, it was looking like NRG was going to wipe the floor with them,
yeah.
right? If you remember, they were like, what, 9-2 up early on in this game? And then we see North to start to get back into it. They end the half 6-9. And since moving on to this CT side, they've been damn near flawless. You know, just the pistol round going the way of NRG, and then that one solitary rifle round that they're able to win out along with the conversion. That's been it on their T side. So, you know, they've only managed one rifle round thus far. North are looking absolutely stellar in this game right now. Valda this time left to anchor down that B-bomb site alone. That's something he's very proficient in, and that's one of the strengths with this North squad is now, you know, you have this four-man hold inside of A. Gade's gone aggressive into main. That nade going to chip down Ethan to 60 HP. And Gade hits his footsteps. Ethan very, you know, not light on his feet there as he's stampeding around out by main. Gade is going to keep this forward position. This is going to be very infuriating to try and deal with. They're running into him, and they do manage to pick up that one kill at the very least, but the North, they know exactly where this bomb is. They've got their name, number, address, mother's maiden name, first pet's name. They could do everything right now.
Logged onto the bank. And that's why NRG have been drained of cash. It's finally coming back in as the loss bonus begins to build. That's the fourth loss bonus at 2,900. So this is a pretty decent buy now for NRG, but they haven't got the AWP, and that's down to cost, but it's not been getting them picks. They've not been playing around Cirque, if you notice on the T side. They've just been going for defaults every single round and then going for an execute. Now, that doesn't always favor the AWP. It's great once you get the bomb down and you can set up that AWP in the post plant, especially on train. But if you're not like setting up your AWP to get picks, to open up man advantages, Cirque is going to have a very hard time. So I think rifle on him right now, given how NRG are approaching these T side rounds, is probably the right decision.
Well, for North, I mean, now they're switching it up. You know, we saw them try and take aggression over in main in the round prior. This time it's Ivy they're going to look to try and poke and prod and, you know, poke the bear, essentially, that is NRG. Or I mean, well, I say that. Lion versus a bear. Who wins there? No one knows.
Ooh. I'd say a bear, man.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
a bear man. A bear man.
Man, bear, pig, man.
Man, bear, pig. That's a completely different beast altogether. Well, pushing towards this B-bomb site. They're going to be able to find Valor. They chip him down, and the bomb plant now comes in for NRG. Probably the best shot we've seen them at finding around in these rifles in, you know, almost their entire T-side thus far, excluding the pistol and that one round they've been able to get since. Kiebi will get bested, but Cadian instantly in position to trade 3-on-3. North still trying their hand in this retake, but you do get the sense that a lot of the momentum has been pulled out from it. Trying to get past Cirque here. Time's already ticked down very low, though, and North kind of questioning if this is going to be worth it. Starting to push on up. Fugly finds the first man. Cirque now emerges, and yes, NRG, they manage the 13th. They managed to maintain their lead for the time being. But North, they're chomping at the bit. They're hot on their heels.
Yeah, and last time, I mean, NRG got around. There were essentially it was a 3 streak for North, 1 for NRG, then another 3 for North. Now it's been 1 more for NRG. If we have 3 in a row for North, that's going to be close to GG. NRG need to make sure they keep this one up. A great execute towards the B side working out in their favor, but they are still on the chopping block here. They're still up for a reset. Doing their best to avoid it. The AWP is still in play for North. Cadian's pulled that up. Ethan tagged on early. You see them wanting to pressure the pop dog, and Ethan's already moved out main while AZ's flashed in the middle of the bomb site. Everyone's stacked up on B right now for North. No one is even here. We've only got Kierby down on Ivy, and while there's a double pop dog flank coming on in, the smokes are raining all over the bomb site for NRG. They're cutting off these sight lines. They might not expect such a quick flank, but Valdi's going for the long way round in through the T spawn, and he may meet Daps just there in a moment.
They do go running into one another. They clash heads, and Valdez the man to win that duel. So now sitting in the 4-on-4, that smoke does leave a little to be desired, as Fugly can go peeking on round it. Breezy's holding the push in from Pop Dog, and North starting to creep on in. Trying to go toe-to-toe as well down here, and Ivy, you can see Cirque's got position there. He's got so many players coming his way. Breezy wins his fight. Kierby and Valde able to deal with theirs separately, though, elsewhere on the map. And the trades aren't coming through from NRG. Breezy springing back into action. Second kill, but Valde trades back. And Fugly now down to the 1v1. Cadian might find the kill, but he's not going to have time to grab the defuse. So that's NRG, 14-12 up here, as they start to soldier on ahead once more to match point.
The only kit there for North was on Kierby in the 3-on-3, and he died close to the connector, so that's what Cadian was walking towards, but there was just no time left up. That's unfortunate. And such a crucial round for both teams. Whoever loses that gets their money broken. And in the case of it being North, which is the reality of the situation, NRG have broken their money at 14-12. Now North had to make the horrible decision, and I imagine this is why we have the timeout, of, okay, do we eco this round and just play around the AWP, or with $2,000, do we fully force up and commit everything into winning this here and not going to overtime? It's a really hard call to make. Frankly, I think the best call is to play for overtime, but you know, it really just comes down to what you as a team prefer, how you like to play, and what your game plan is into approaching these rifle rounds.
Yeah, I think you maybe hit the nail on there, because North, you know, normally are a more conservative team in that sense. And normally they're a team that like to have the full ensemble, right? Like they want to have everything, you know. They don't just want a drummer and a violinist, right? They want the full orchestra. I mean, I don't, you know the ins and outs of being an orchestra. I've never been one.
You've been in one?
No, I've never been in one either. But tell you what, the conductor, Cadian, fitting that we're on train, conductor of this orchestra, but also of this map, going to try and punch a ticket for North here into a 13th round with this AWP, the one rifle that they do have, and it has netted an early frag onto Breezy. That Molotov does give up as well. There's another man out here toward this position. The only issue is the B bomb site's left wide open, and NRG, they've gone barreling through. Cirque able to pluck Cadian from this round. That's the one AWP dropped. NRG not leaving any stone unturned either, as they do clear all the angles down here toward B. They know it's safe, they know it's sound. Valde no longer around. Gade and AZ left in a 2-on-4. Try and hold on to this AWP. Now there's even an AK for them to retrieve. So all in all, pretty good bit of scavenging.
If they get away with these 2 guns, that's a brilliant eco for North. They get 2 kills, they save some massive weapons, they keep the AWP, albeit being a separate AWP. Actually, no, sorry, it was picked up off of a connector. But either way, it's a great round for North, so they should be happy with that. But obviously, they are aware that they're up against 15 rounds here for NRG. And Cirque, he has been back on the AWP in this round, which is a note as well, winning his duel down towards connector. Those are the kind of duels that you need Cirque to win, that you want your AWP in position for, and that's the benefit of having it over the rifle. That long position from ramp down to connector, catching the rotate. And in a round where North are running one AWP and nothing else, it's all on that player. It's all on Cadian. So Cirque ridding NRG of having to deal with him, leaves him at 15 rounds here on the T side. So one more for victory here for NRG. And what a victory that would be, Harry, because not only did they start the first half in a great fashion, but North, they managed to pull it back. They managed to make this 12-12, and if NRG still come out on top on that, that just shows the resilience on this roster.
Yeah, sadly, there's no award for almost winning. They only give that to the winners.
What, they give the award for almost winning to the winners?
I mean, no. I phrased that horribly. But we do at least have, thanks to that choice to not go for the investment in the previous, we do have a 4-buy here for North. They've got all the bells and whistles here. Everything they could possibly need. And if bells and whistles aren't your metaphor, we can say all the trimmings. They've got everything. Food is more, your food for thought. Gade. Going to be joined up with Valder inside of this B-bomb. So this time they're doubling it down and not choosing to play Valder here as this anchor. That's largely because NRG, they've had a lot of success in this avenue of the map. Valder, he's been plucked off, and Ethan actually going to manage another onto Gade. So Kierby doing what he can over here. Backed up by Cadian, has at least made this a 3-on-3. They've made it possible. They've now got to try and crack this nut that is the NRG defense inside of this B-bomb site. Ethan holding close, has Fugly with him. Fugly gonna manage one. Cadian and AZ left on standing. And what can they do? AZ steps up and finds the first man, but Ethan, the gift that keeps on giving, third kill in this round, the hat trick to his name. And AZ gonna try and hop on this bomb, just has to stick it. He's hiding in the smoke. And
no!
How's he managed that? How's he done it? AZ takes a knife to the spine and keeps the defuse going. What even is that? 13-15.
Sorry, der kommer out of rush nu, eller?
Oh no!
That's so calm from North. No one's freaking out. I don't understand it. Cirque howling his head, and yeah, I think so after that one. He knifes him in the back and doesn't even get the kill. Dear, oh dear, for NRG, they could have just, well, not lost the game yet, considering North lost all their players. So their buy isn't great here anyway, but they've given themselves a lifeline, Harry.
AZ gets literally shivved and is just like, nah, it's all right, mate. I'm dedicated. We're staying in this.
Big ball play from AZ. I mean, it wasn't much else he could do, but look at this round from Ethan as well. Just so patient on that late connector peak on top of it. And here's the angle that Sir knifed him just in the right arm there. So AZ not getting killed by the knife, but will get blocked afterwards. And for those wondering why the knife was employed in that round, when you don't know someone, when you know someone's in the smoke on the bomb, right? If you're going to shoot them, you don't know the exact angle they're at. The knife is always really, in those situations, the best decision for Cirque, because you can really cut like across like yeah, right, like a lot larger area. But yeah, he's
Yeah, I mean, that's why, like when explorers used to go to jungles, they would use like a big machete, like cut through the leaves, and not like a
gun to shoot the trees. Yeah, that's a good point. Breezy, fast in the A site. NRG want to close this out after that absolute blinder of a previous round, and they may get the chance to do so, because AZ gets caught out this time. No shenanigans from him, and Valdi's all that stands now for North. NRG, they have charged A, and boy, have they made it work.
It is just Valda left starting at a 1v4 this time. There's no Ninja Defuse heroics. It has to be the clutch, and it's not happening. NRG 16-13. They're going to be picking up the victory here versus the Danes on trade. And they're feeling fantastic about it. They almost slip up. There was almost a bit of an incident, but we won't talk about that. NRG emerging victorious. And for North, it's back to the drawing board now. They do not want to be eliminated here, or at least not in the group stages, in front of what could be this home crowd.
Yeah, some nice execution from NRG, looking good on that T side, especially after North almost pulled the game back into control, but albeit not going to be a win for North. However, they're not done, Harry. They're still here against, well, not against, but at least a home territory, and they're going to have a chance to bounce back in the future. But that will not be now. Before that, we throw it over to the analyst desk to see what they make of that game.
Yeah, you know what I can start to make of that is that Ethan is still a monster and he's still getting it done. A really good showing here by NRG. They really got out in front of that one early on. And guys, let's try to make some sense of what we just saw. I think we kind of gave North the edge to that one going into it, but now obviously that ship has sailed.
I mean, like we said, this would be probably one of the closer matches, if not the closest match of the day, and it turned out to be just that. Obviously, winning both pistol rounds, that's going to bode well for NRG. And also, I felt like the first half from North to T side was a little lackluster. I felt like the build-up phase of a lot of the rounds was non-existent, basically. They were not getting a lot of map control, not trying to get like ladder control initially of the round, for example, try to push back the CTs a little bit for them to make it easier for North to then make a setup play. Instead, a lot of just direct straight-up plays instead, and they got denied time after time. So it kind of felt like they basically got into that half because of winning like a semi-buy / like a forced buy situation at 5-1, I think it was, that then broke the economy for NRG because the rounds were relatively close up until that point. So that was pretty much a lifeline that North had.
I definitely agree, but I think it was down to NRG playing a great CT side. The fact that, as you said, the build-up rounds from North on the T side were non-existent, but I think that was down to the fact that NRG was so good at interrupting it. They were playing very proactive, especially on the inside. You know, they have some peaks up the lower ramp. That's how they won the pistol round. They also had a round where they pushed up Fuckley into the lower ramp and had Zerg, you know, in higher area, making sure that he could get away safely as well. So they had some initial good plans. I think this was a loss from North in a big way. They should have won that second pistol round without a doubt. That was a big misplay by KDN, peeking a little bit too much and then a little bit unlucky, you know, a little bit of randomness coming into those one-on-ones. But North really had this one in the back. I think we saw in what we outlined in the pregame as well. You had the team play of North being the better one. They won the most buy rounds as well. But when it came down to the individual stars of the game, you know, as you said, Ethan were the guy to look out for. He was the difference maker for NRG of the majority of this time. So again, you know, a team that loses to also a team, obviously, but a team that relies a little bit more on the individual skill power that they had to go through it.
Now, we did have the opportunity to kind of hear what was going on within the camp of North, maybe during their timeouts, maybe it's freeze time. And regardless of what we could make out of what they were saying, we could still tell that their composure was very calm, very cool, very collected, even though they did find themselves against the rope. Is there anything that you could tell me in regards to these players and this team, the Danish scene, as to how they handle those situations?
That's something that Danish teams have been working on a lot as of lately. It's no doubt that 2 years ago, we were probably some of the worst in the world in that aspect. You know, we were, as I said, you know, if we wanted a guy out of our team, we would just kick him instantly and we would not blink twice doing it. That would just be the case, you know, later, dude. Whereas today, we have Astralis being the great example, you know, implementing this whole sports psychology thing into the game, you know, talking to psychologists, talking to guys that can make sure that you can control your emotions in these situations. And that's something you have to be able to do if you want to play on a top team in Denmark. It's no longer good enough just being good at the game. If you can't control yourself and if you can't control your emotions, there's no space for you on a team like North or on a team like Astralis. So that's just a given these days.
I think that's universal as well. I think that's where we're going with Counter-Strike in general. Everyone has to like kind of treat it as a job now and really just make sure that you're doing every single thing correctly. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to compete with the best, you know, especially I think Astralis has really set that precedent this year.
Yeah, setting the bar high, right?
Yeah, exactly. You need to really work for it for you to be competitive. But yeah, I mean, you can tell even though things were not looking great, they were like, what, 12-6 down? North was really super dialed in, and they also showed a lot of proactiveness, a lot of aggressiveness on the CT side, trying to make things as hard as possible for NRG. It just came down to a couple of obviously weird situations on both occasions. We saw that one where AZ was able to defuse the bomb at a match point, something that should have never happened, for example. But the same goes the other way around as well. You have to give credit to someone like Valde as well. I think he contributed massively in a lot of the T rounds that North was able to scrape through, getting a couple of crucial kills in that post-ban situation when the rotations were coming in. So yeah, those are positive signs. I think they could just kind of see if... Think of this as, obviously, they felt like they had the grasp of that, but don't really hold this to themselves. Instead, just move forward. I feel like there's more to see for us from North.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to get a chance to kind of roadmap what it is that those teams are going to be faced up against going forward. But I'm going to give you a quick B-Stream update in the meantime. Na'Vi taking on Order. Order up currently 3-1 on the map of Mirage on their T side. Anything you guys can speculate with that?
We do know that Na'Vi is known for starting out tournaments pretty goddamn horrible, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to happen again.
Listen, in the big picture, in the Counter-Strike history, I think Australian teams and Mirage is a bit of a package. I mean, remember back in the day when Sponge and the boys came into the scene, you know, making waves, Mirage was the map that it happened on. So yeah, you never know.
Well, we're going to bring it back to Train real quick, Jacob. We actually do have an interview very quickly with James Banks and a winner over there on the NRG camp. So let's hear what they've got to say.
I've grabbed Daps for NRG after their win against North. Now, started off pretty good, strong start, looking confident, and then they started to bring it back, right? And North's always a team that can kind of find their way into games. Just talk to me on them last few rounds especially. What was going through you guys' heads?
Well, the last few rounds on CT side, I feel like we could have closed out the CT side half with at least 11 or 12 rounds, but we lost a lot of close rounds. And then coming into the last couple of rounds on T side, we lost the 1 versus 2. I kind of saw it coming because I knew it was planted for Cirque, but he is an op, so obviously he's not going to spam with an op. And then Ethan had to run close, and then they just got a defuse, but we closed it out, luckily.
Now, you guys, you've had like your whole year, right, has been just constant making progressions. You guys have been doing better and better. What would be kind of the defining moment of what you want to see happen here? Like, is there a goal you guys have in mind?
Well, we did the first step. We usually always lose the first match of a tournament, so I guess that's a good start. I think we play MIBR or Sharks, I believe. So obviously the main goal is to make playoffs always, and then we'll go from there.
And you've just got off the back of Malta. You took the 2nd place there in the end. Do you feel like that was a good warm-up mode? Did you guys like take some stuff you can learn from that and bring it into this?
We definitely did learn a lot. Even though we lost to Liquid at the event in the finals, I think there's a lot to take away from those losses. And yeah, we're hopefully going to apply it here.
Hey, let's see if we do. Thank you very much, Dabs. Appreciate it. Guys, let me know what you thought about that.
I'm waving at the guy in the background as well, just because I didn't want him to feel left out. But nonetheless, guys, some quick closing thoughts here before we go to a break. Perhaps what we can expect from at least NRG going forward. They're now going to be stacked up against MIBR.
Yeah, I think silver lining is that we saw what we wanted from both teams. We saw some decent Counter-Strike. We saw some fairly, high individual skill sets of some of the players as well. And I think both North and NRG will far in this bracket of the tournament. I don't think you can count either of them out for now, especially not NRG. As you said, they're playing MIBR, a team that is starting to look better and better. So that's going to be a tough task. Whereas North is going down in the lower bracket and they're facing the Brazilians from Sharks. So without being disrespectful to those guys, that should be a game they should be able to win.
Yeah, in theory, it all kind of aligns and it all kind of makes sense. Sort of like us here on the analyst desk, perhaps starting to wrap this one up and then going on into our next matchup, the likes of Ghost and Mouse Sports will be squaring off on one map. It will be their opening matchup here at the ESL Pro League Season 8 Finals in the lovely city of Odense. So make sure you're with us when we come back.